I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Katie DeFiore. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm doing great.
Hey, it's a great pleasure to connect with you. What part of the world are you in?
I'm in State College, Pennsylvania.
Oh, sweet. I heard the weather is amazing in Penn State right now.
It's actually really hot.
Well, I guess the person who spoke to me likes the hot at this point in time, right?
Yeah, it's just,
Probably,
I would
right?
like a little more consistency with the weather. It was freezing cold a couple days ago, and now it's like 90 degrees outside. So,
Yeah, I could understand that. Well, I mean, we just before we got on, you were telling me the name, the meaning of your name, because it is a bit like it's like names on podcasters. Sometimes podcasters butcher names, don't they? So
yeah, for
you
sure.
here we have Katie DeFiore, right? Could you say it so it sounds better?
Katie DeFiore.
See, that sounds a little better. So what does DeFiore
It
means?
actually means the flower in Italian. So my name's actually all over Italy for flower shops.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, Katie, tell me, which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
Yeah, you wanted to talk to me about my podcast. I love audio storytelling. I fell in love with it about a year ago, when I started my own podcast, and I've been doing it ever since.
Congratulations on doing a podcast for an entire year.
Thanks.
Wonderful. Yeah, well done. Well done. So you get on there, you speak, you tell stories. The name of your podcast is An Entrepreneurial State of Mind, right?
Yep, that's one of them.
Oh, there's more. Tell us
There are
more.
more.
Tell us more. Tell us.
So, an entrepreneurial state of mind is the one I started a year ago, and that one I use to interview student entrepreneurs on the Penn State campus. And the other one I do is called Voices of Penn State, and that one I'm also interviewing Penn State students, but that one is more of like what's it called? It's more like Humans of New York. So it's Penn State podcast version of Humans of New York.
Interesting. Now tell me about Humans of New York. I do not know what that is.
Oh, Humans of New York is something that I don't know when it was started, but basically there's this one guy who goes around the streets of New York City and takes pictures of random people on the streets and asks them like really intimate questions and asks them to tell basically their life story to him. So Humans of New York is like this blog, I guess, where this guy posts these pictures of these people in New York and their whole like life story right underneath of it.
Wow.
And it's an amazing skill to like aspire to get people to like trust you enough with their stories.
It is. It is. So where did you learn that skill from? That skill of getting people to trust you with their stories.
I'm still learning. It's really a trial and error thing. When I first started doing Voices of Penn State at the beginning of this semester, my first few interviews were completely terrible. They did not go well at all. I didn't know what the right questions were to ask, and people felt uncomfortable, and I felt uncomfortable, and it was just trial and error, trying to figure out what worked and what didn't work, and what made people feel comfortable. And I sort of decided that the best thing for me to do was to start casual conversation before delving right into it, and just sort of being myself, and coming across as like a journalist that doesn't really know what she's doing yet is really helpful. People are less intimidated by someone who doesn't seem like they know what they're doing.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. You sound like an under 20-year-old. Is that an accurate age?
I am 20.
Wow. Yeah. That's fascinating. You're doing a lot for your age, aren't you?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm trying to. follow my passion.
Yeah, it seems as though you run really deep. Like, I mean, who in your family or who's probably your best friend and like dives so deep around you?
Who's my best friend? Is that what you
Oh
asked?
no, sorry. It's like who in your circle of influence then dives this deep? Because it seems as though you're someone that goes into deep conversations, right?
Mm.
Is it like a family member that you have? It's similar to that?
That's a good question. My brother is probably my inspiration for, I guess, my personality. Everything that I do is sort of in an attempt to emulate his, I guess, personality and his, just general way of being. He's the most creative, innovative person I know, and he's very good at having conversations with people. And so I aspire to do that myself.
Wow. You should say his name. Let's immortalize his name on the podcast. Say.
His name's Chris DeFiore.
There we go. There we go. So why will you continue to repeat this skill of really diving deep with people and sharing their stories?
I'm passionate about storytelling. I think that the best way that we can learn about the world is by talking to the people in that world and hearing other people's stories. I I've always loved interviewing people. That's why I got into journalism. That's why I'm a journalism major here at Penn State, because it gives me an excuse to go up to random people I wouldn't normally talk to and talk to them and hear their perspective on various topics. So I I strongly believe that the best way to spend my time is to hear what other people have to say about different things that are going on in the world.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating. Well, tell me one other thing, please, that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
Ooh, something I've done
She said,
consistently.
ooh.
um, Over the past 3 years, that's interesting because I'm in my third year of college. So I guess, when did I start? Uh, I guess I don't know if this is the answer you're looking for, but I've journaled every single day for the
Oh, there
past
we
three
go.
years.
Well, it's not really the answer I'm looking for, but is it the truth? I'm joking. I'm joking. So, how does that make you feel, journaling consistently?
It makes me, it puts me into a reflective state. I'm really about reflecting on the things that happen in my life and the people that I talk to on the day-to-day basis. So being able to put my thoughts from the day all down on paper before I go to sleep is really good. I think it's healthy, and I think it kind of puts things into perspective. If I had a really stressful day, I can at least, think about the good things that have happened and go to sleep on a good note.
Well, that's amazing. Why would you suggest that someone out there that may be around your age, right, do exactly that? Find that space in journaling.
Yeah, for sure. I think college is a stressful time. I think people need to be more reflective and look at the bigger picture because of, the amount of stress that we deal with day to day.
Well, folks, we are live with Katie. She has, well, we thought it was only one podcast, right? She has an entrepreneurial state of mind. And then the other one with Penn State. What is the name of the other one? Please to remind me.
Voices of Penn State.
Voices of Penn State, right? So Katie is
Mhm.
is doing some amazing things in Pennsylvania and by extension, all that listen all over the world, right? Katie, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Katie, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Ooh, earliest childhood memory. I guess I have I have a pretty vivid memory, and I don't know if this memory is vivid because I've heard other people tell me the story of it several times, but I feel like I remembered it first before other people told me about it. But I went to Disney World at a very young age. I think I was like 3 or 4, and the Snow White ride scared the crap out of me, and I I could not handle the Wicked Witch or whatever. She was a wooden board. Like, it was a wooden board that her face was painted onto that just swung out, and I started screaming and crying. I don't know why I thought that was so scary, but that's one of the earliest memories I think I have.
How old do you think you were?
Probably 3 or 4.
Wow. So why do you think this memory is so clear?
Probably because it's been told to me so many times and because I actually remember it happening. And it's like a story that my family consistently brings up to make fun of me. They're like, "Oh, you couldn't even handle the Snow White ride."
That's fascinating. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that within that story, as much as it was traumatic, the beauty of storytelling comes through. Because your parents and your family did that, right? They
Mm-hmm.
told that story consistently and continuously over and over and over. But the power of that and the emphasis it creates in your life is pretty fascinating. And to see you as the person that you're actually doing that now with others and their stories is pretty amazing.
Huh, I didn't even think of it that way. That's a pretty cool way to think about it.
Yeah. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Favorite song at 12 years old. That's what was I listening to? Where was I at 12 years old? That was like 8th grade, right?
Right.
I think I was listening to some Linkin Park music. I was going through like a heavy metal phase in 8th grade.
Right. And tell me the name of one song.
Paper Cut by Linkin Park.
All right, cool. All right, my friend. Well, we have arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. Katie, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
I guess not. I don't have a mentee, I guess, but
Okay.
I would love to pass on my skills to somebody eventually.
There we go. Are you married?
No.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
No.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yeah.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
It depends on the day.
What about 3 hours a week?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And what about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
I'd say that's hard to measure. I feel like probably less than 8. That sounds like a lot of time.
Yeah. Well, Katie, after having 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, you could understand why sometimes I needed to sit on ice, right? But I came up with a workbook that's called Yours, Your Own Unique Real Self. And connected to that is your own unique real statement. If you had to share with us, Katie, your own unique real statement, a statement that connects who you are, what would you say that is?
My own unique statement. That's hard. I would say that my own unique statement is that I am passionate about storytelling because everyone has a story.
It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. She's passionate because everyone has a story. You better believe that. Katie, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Check out my podcast on iTunes, Entrepreneurial State of Mind, or Voices of Penn State. That's on the Daily Collegian's website.
Love it. Folks, Katie DeFiore, thank you so much for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.